How's it going there, Joshilites? Just chilling out at my parents' house this afternoon. I woke up around 11 o'clock. I meant to wake up a little earlier, because last night I went to bed like around midnight, and I was like, there's no way I won't be sleeping late. Then all of a sudden I wake up around 11 o'clock. I'm like, God have mercy. I meant to wake up at 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock. So tonight I'm going to try again, and yeah. So today, all I have planned for today is, just rehearse for my upcoming audition and also editing my Christmas vlog. So, was busy with my audition, rehearsing for it yesterday. So, yeah. So be on the lookout for the upcoming, actually no, the Christmas vlog. It'll be uploaded by the time I upload this. So sorry about that. So yeah, I'll be editing that today, and also trying to figure out, what the correct Wi-Fi, modem is around here, because it's been a long while since I've been to my parents' house, and I sometimes tend to forget the little things. So yeah, I'm about to ride to town here in a few minutes. Gonna go grab me some pizza, and also I'm gonna take my little buddy right here in this kennel. You man, come on, little buddy, come on, buddy, come on. Come on, buddy. Come on, little man. Yeah, I'm going to take little man right there, little blonde one. I'm going to take him with me to town. And now it's Lexi right there, his mate. And that little silver one is his son, Peanut. Yeah, these are my little buddies right here, especially little man. Of course, Lexi, she's more closer to my mom, just like Peanut. Peanut and Lexi are much closer to my mom, and little man's my little buddy. So yeah, we're gonna ride to town in a little bit. Go grab us some pizza. You man. Wanna go bye bye? I had to catch some film right quick. I gotta show you guys his reaction when I say go bye bye. Wanna go bye bye, little man? Wanna go bye bye? Wanna go bye bye? Yeah, he loves to go riding. He loves riding to town with me. Wanna go bye bye, little man? Little man, you wanna go bye bye? Wanna go bye bye? Yeah, you wanna go bye bye? Yeah, we're going to go bye-bye in just a moment. I got to call in the pizza. All right, BRBs, peeps. Hey there, Josh Lights. Just got back from town with my little buddy right there, little man. How you doing, little buddy? How you doing? How you doing? Yeah, he's a happy little boy now. So, yeah, just got back from town, got some pizza, and I figured I'd make a little, share a little story with you guys. And this is about the first time when I went to New York City with Mom, 3 years ago. It's going to be 4 years this January. I mean, God. 4 years ago, Mom and I went to New York City, just to see what it was like up there. Alrighty then. Well, 3 years ago, actually no, it was 4 years ago this December, like right now, I was, scheduled to be, an extra in a feature film that was shooting here in Jackson, Mississippi. I think it was called, Same Kind of Different as Me. It was going to star Jaimin Hunsu and Renee Zellweger. It was basically a big project, and I was supposed to be an extra in it, but unfortunately, I want to say it was like a week prior to when we were supposed to shoot. They had to cancel my time to be there, because they had some production issues and they just had to cancel. And I gotta say, I was devastated about that. I was really devastated, and I had developed a mild depression from it. And my mom gave me the encouragement to look up acting schools all around, the United States, see if I could find any close to home, Mississippi. But unfortunately, there was nothing here for me in terms of acting. There was nothing here for me. So eventually, I basically, looked up, schools in New York City. And one night, when I was watching a biography on Scarlett Johansson on television, Mom and I were watching the biography very closely, and then all of a sudden they basically talked about where she trained, and when I saw the name of the school, I was like, I need to look at that school. But anyway, just I looked up Strasberg, and I basically looked up at their history, looked at, the history of Lee Strasberg himself, his biography, all the people that trained at his school. And I also just, really, really delved into it. Like, I really wanted to know more about the school and about its founder, Lee Strasberg himself. And then after much research about the school, doing my homework and everything, yeah, like after doing homework on Lee Strasberg and also the school and everything, I basically, asked Mom if we could plan a trip to New York City to see what it was like. Because here's the thing, they have two institutes for Strasberg. There's one in New York and one in LA. And I was just trying to decide which one I wanted to go to, and I saw history of New York City and Los Angeles and stuff, and we felt that New York would be a little better for me because we felt that security there might be a little better. We looked up the history of New York and the history of Strasberg. And let me sit down real quick. My arm's getting a little tired. All right, so hey Peanut. We looked up the history of Strasberg, and we also looked up New York and everything about the track record, of crimes and stuff that could have happened there, just to see which one was safer. And if you're noticing, that's Peanut trying to sneak in on the camera. Sorry, little buddy. And when we felt New York was the better place for me to go because it was safer there, or supposedly we thought, which it's really it is safe in some parts of New York, but this day and age, there are some parts of the city where you have to be careful, because there's going to be vultures crawling around in the streets everywhere. So yeah, after we looked up, Strasberg and New York and everything, we decided to plan a trip to go there. And Mom said to me that, all right then, if you're going to go to Strasberg, you're going to go for that 1 year. If you back out, you're on your own. I said, you got a deal. So I started my application process at the Lee Strasberg Institute, and Mom and I started planning a trip to New York City, just to get the feel of the environment and also visit the school and also go to Broadway as well, because, there were several Broadway plays running around that time, and Hugh Jackman was in one of them called The River. And we ordered tickets for it. And when we were planning our trip to New York, my dad at first, he was against it, because he, and for good reason too. He was just scared for me. That's all it was. And I totally understand it now why he did, was wholeheartedly against it at first. But yeah, eventually he was like, I gotta let you go. You just gotta see what it's like up there and just enjoy your time up there. And so Mom and I went to New York around, I want to say it was shortly after my birthday. Yeah, it was shortly after my 21st birthday. We went to New York City. We traveled from, Mississippi to Charlotte, North Carolina. Then we took a flight from there to JFK. And once we got off at JFK, we didn't know where to go and everything. And little did I know, Mom, a few nights prior, she had ordered a stay for us at the Lex Hotel in the East Village. So we get to New York, and we see how drastically different the environment is there compared to here in Mississippi. There are cars everywhere, there's buildings all over the place, and it's much louder, the smell's much different. And it was much colder too, because this was in the dead of winter when it's freezing up there in New York City. And we traveled around a bit once we got to our hotel, just to see what it was like, to see if we could find food joints and stuff. And we found this really nice restaurant. I can't remember the name of it, but it was a nice restaurant. It had good food, great drinks, and a really cool, fun atmosphere. It really did. But considering how shy I was at the time, I stuck close to my mom because I wasn't that comfortable, going off without her like how I am now. And the following morning, we got up, to go explore around the neighborhood. We went, to Union Square. We went to gosh, what was it? Times Square. We went to Times Square, and I even think too we traveled a bit up going towards Harlem, if I can remember. Actually, no, it wasn't towards Harlem. It was Lower Manhattan, near in the West Village, and we traveled around a bit, just looking around, seeing what everything was like, and I want to say it was on the second day, we were snowed in because of the weather and stuff. We were snowed in. We couldn't go around and do much, and we just didn't feel comfortable walking out in a blizzard, because there was snow everywhere. The wind was really bad, and yeah, Mom and I couldn't go around and do anything that day. And then the following day, I basically, said, Mom, we got to get out and do something. We can't just stay cooped up in this hotel, We went traveling around, and then finally, we went to Times Square because it was the night of, when we were going to go see Hugh Jackman in the river. And we ate at this restaurant called Bubba Gump Shrimp, which is basically a restaurant named after Forrest Gump's company in Forrest Gump, which is one of my favorite films of all time. I love Forrest Gump. And we ate at the restaurant, and they had Forrest Gump, playing on all the screens throughout the restaurant, like 24/7, nothing else. Forrest Gump, and every single time you had to call a waiter or whenever you don't need a waiter, there was this little sign there called "Run, Forrest, Run," which basically indicates to the waiter that we don't need any assistance and anything. And if we needed something, we flipped it over and it said "Stop, Forrest, stop." That was so cool. I mean, that was such a great restaurant. I mean, the food was great, the atmosphere was great, and also the gift shop was really cool. Like, if you see in my vlog coming home for Christmas vacation, you'll see that I had a few souvenirs from there, like bubblegum shrimp and Run Forrest Run. And Mama says that I'm special. So we didn't get to the theater, around the time it was time for the play to start. It was like, I think it started like around 7:30 that night. And once we got there, it was a full house. Like the whole theater was full. And we were up close to the stage. We were like about 5 to 10 feet from the stage. And once the show started, there was this young actress I had never seen before. She was coming out, doing her thing, saying her lines and stuff, and then all of a sudden, like when she gave a cue, that's when Hugh just comes from the audience. He comes from the audience, like out in between the audience up to the stage, and to see him in person was like, it was almost like a dream, because here's the thing. Hugh Jackman is one of my biggest inspirations. He's one of the many reasons why I became an actor. Like watching him in films like, the X-Men films or other films like Real Steel or what's that other film he was in that I saw him in? Oh yeah, Van Helsing. Even though I didn't like Van Helsing, he was possibly the best thing about that movie. And just watching him, perform and how he immerses himself into his roles is why I idolize him so much, because that's the same thing I do when it comes to acting. I literally immerse myself into my roles and I really go all out. Like I really go beat for beat how the character is in the script, how I believe the character is, and what the character would do and what they wouldn't do. I mean, I literally follow my character's details religiously. That's how much I love acting, because Hugh Jackman really, seeing him on stage was so much better than watching him in films. Like he was incredible. He was incredible. And he really, and here's the thing too, after the play was over, and everything, when they came out to do their bows and everyone went backstage, he came running back out and he did one special bow for himself. I was like, good old Hugh. He has to, give us one final goodbye, after, he's done his thing, And yeah, and Hugh Jackman, if you ever watch this, sir, I love your work. I love your enthusiasm, and I would love to work with you one day. I would love to act alongside you in a film. So if you ever see this, please hit me up. So anyway, yeah, just And then after that show, Mom and I were heading back to the Lex Hotel, to rest up for the night before we went out and did anything else the following day. And as we're on our way home from Times Square, this guy comes right up to us. He's like, and here's the thing: I was wearing a Spider-Man themed jacket, and I still have it too, but it's in my apartment in New York. But it was a Spider-Man themed jacket. It was the same pattern design as Spider-Man's costume. And if you zip it all the way up, the hoodie will zip up and it'll look like you're wearing Spider-Man's mask. And you can see right through it. I mean, it's a cool jacket. I love it. It's a cool jacket. But considering how cold it gets in New York, that's not the ideal jacket to be wearing up there in New York when it gets freezing temperatures. So, as Mom and I are walking home, I'm wearing my Spider-Man jacket, and this guy comes from out of nowhere on us, and he goes, "Hey man, I like your Spider-Man jacket. Come put it right here. How you doing? And me and Mom were like thanks. And he was like, "You guys want to go out and party tonight?" And he followed us for 2 minutes. And Mom and I are kind of like, "Dude, what are you doing? Get away from us. We want to go home. We want to go to our freaking hotel to rest for the night." And Mom, being a good judge of character, she said, "No, we're going home. We're leaving tomorrow morning," which we technically weren't. We were just saying that to him so we wouldn't run into him again. And the thing is, the guy, she could tell that he was high. And I could tell it as well. I mean, I could at the time, even though I'm not as good a judge of a character as I am now, I could see somewhat that he looked like a dopehead just by looking at him, how he behaved and everything. And Mom, she could really see it, that he was on drugs and stuff. And she kind of gave that vibe "Dude, if you do not go away, I'm going to call the cops or I'm going to hurt you." She really gave off that vibe. And trust me, I say this, my mom, she's that kind of woman you don't want to make angry, because if you do, she can turn into a Hellcat. So yeah, we lied to him and said we were leaving the following morning and that we didn't want to be followed anymore. And then after he was like, "All right, I'll let you guys go. Have a safe trip home and everything." And once we got to the subway tunnel, Mom and I were looking at each other like, "What just happened? What was that right there?" And she said, "A dopehead. That's what happened. He was trying to get us involved in his crap." And I was like, "You got a point there." I said, "You got a point there, Mom." And then the following day, after we left Times Square and got back to the hotel, we actually paid a visit to the Lee Strasberg Institute. We actually went to the school. We spoke to some faculty members there. And Samantha, if you're watching this, I remember you were one of the people we talked to when I first arrived in that school building. And when we were talking to them, they were telling us, how we can get me signed up and everything, and what we could do, to get me an agent and everything after I graduate. And they said that we would have to look in the Backstage call sheet. And that's true. You have to look in Backstage call sheet or go on Backstage's website to look at the list of managers and agents. And when after we had finished speaking with them about getting me enrolled in the school and applying for it, they said that we told them about Hugh Jackman's show, The River, and about how great it was, and how wonderful he was, and also and how much I was looking forward to joining the Lee Strasberg Institute. And here's the thing too, I was so passionate about joining the Lee Strasberg Institute because I really delved into their history. I delved into Lee Strasberg's history, his biography, everything. And then a few months later, after we had left New York to come home, from vacation to rest up and get me signed up for the school, I end up, sending my application to them after I, wrote an essay why I would be a good fit for the school. My resume, which it only had 2 credits on it at the time, 2 Bay Springs theater production plays that I was in when I was a teenager, and also my application. We mailed that to the school. And I want to say a month after I wouldn't say a month. It was like 2 weeks after we mailed it to them, and they reviewed everything. They asked if I wanted to do a Skype interview or over the phone interview. I didn't even know what Skype was at the time. Neither did my mother. So I said phone interview. And then the following morning, actually it wasn't the following morning, it was like a few days later, I got on the phone with someone who, I think her name was Amelia DeFeo. If I can remember, that was her name, you know. I got on the phone with her. We spoke about why it would be a good fit, the actors who inspired me, which were Al Pacino, Robin Williams, and Robert De Niro. And I explained why they inspired me so much. And I talked about their range from the characters they were. But if I were to do it now, I'd be like, the reason why I look up to those three is because how, one, the charismatic, electrifying energy that Robin Williams brings to his role, brought to his roles, and how he would continue to bring to his roles if he were still with us today. So, God rest Robin. Thank you for being such a big inspiration to me. And I'll talk more about that in another video another time about the actors who inspired me. And after all that, and I explained why I would choose to go to New York, and I talked about like from the cultures I could learn from, the diversity, not relying on my own transportation, which I've grown to say my own transportation would be better than transportation in New York City because the MTA is horrible up there. And also the food up there being better than food here in Mississippi. And I'm talking about, you know, food that you would eat at like restaurants up there. My parents' food here in the South, still better than the food that I fixed myself, you know, up in New York City. But the food up there dining out is fantastic. Like, it's really good. And then after, you know, all the discussions of why I would be a good fit for the school, they said that they would email me or call me in the next few days to notify me when I would be accepted or if I would be accepted. And a few days, less than a few weeks later, I got an email confirming that I was now a member of the Lee Strasberg Theater and Film Institute. And here's the thing too. Hold on a second, my battery's almost dead. Just give me a moment, Joshilites. Anyway, sorry about that, guys. My battery is almost dead, and I've been going on and on and on. And sorry if I seem somewhat scatterbrained and stuff. This is like my second vlog, so yeah, just bear with me on that. As I was saying. So the day when I was accepted into the Lee Strasberg Theater and Film Institute was the day that my sister had like gallbladder surgery. And my family and I went in there, you know, just like hoping for the best for my sister and everything. And then like after they said the operation was a success, I checked my emails. And when I look at my email, it says that I was now a member of the Lee Strasberg Theater and Film Institute. So it was almost like Christmas came early that day. And yeah, that was just a really great day for me. You know, my sister came out of surgery. She was healthy as ever. And I got accepted into the school that I wanted to be a member of so badly, attend and commit to learn how to become an actor. And also to learn the ways of being an actor. So yeah, and a few months later, you know, after, you know, I was accepted into the school, I was having to prepare myself, you know, for my eventual move to the city. And when I moved myself to the city, it was kind of a drastic change for me, you know, because, you know, one, I had never been that far away from my mother, and two, it was just an environment that I had no experience living in, you know. So when I first moved to the city, Mom helped me get settled in. You know, just like we signed me up for a dorm room in this dormitory called 92Y on the Upper East Side, and after we had applied for that, we went there. We paid the security deposit. We paid first month's rent, and once we took care of all that, we just went around, you know, collecting supplies that I would need, like, you know, shampoo, soap, and laundry equipment and stuff that I would need to take care of laundry whenever I had to take care of dirty clothes. And another thing too, we also had to get me a blanket, for my dorm room, and also a couple of pillows that I would need. So yeah, it was a real big drastic change for me. And then come the end of the week, once we got all my supplies and everything, and Mom had to come back here to Mississippi to wait it out until Christmas for me to come home, and also let me be my own man. It was hard. It was really hard. When Mom had to leave me here and leave me in New York and had to come back here to Mississippi. And we didn't want to say goodbye to each other. And thinking about it right now, it just it does kind of play with my emotions just thinking about that day when she had to leave me up there in New York, and she had to come back here. And I knew it was going to be a while before I got to come back home to see my family. So after she left, when she started to leave, there was this independent driver named Andreas. If any of you guys ever go to New York City and need a car, contact my friend Andreas. I'll definitely put his contact info in the description for you guys. If you ever need someone to drive you around in New York City, he's the man to contact. So Andreas, when he came to pick up my mom and stuff, he saw how it affected the both of us, and he sympathized because he went through the same thing. Like he cried and cried and cried when he had to say goodbye to his mom. And that's exactly what I did, for most of that evening. But eventually I was able to come to my senses once I got back to my dorm room, and I went out, got me a little dinner. I came back to my dorm room. I basically sat there, watched Dumb and Dumber, relaxed a little bit, and then the following day, I did the same thing, just relaxed, watched a couple of films, eat, and just sleep. And then come Monday morning, that's when my training at the Strasberg Theater and Film Institute began. And that right there, from that moment on, that Monday morning, a few days later on June 29th, the rest is history after that. And I'll explain more about, my time at the Strasberg Theater and Film Institute in another video. So yeah, the next time I make another vlog video, it'll be about my family and some details about it. But I was originally going to do it today. But the reason why I chose not to do it today was because my mom and my dad are around to share some things. So when they are around, and I know they're going to be around, I'll get them to share some things in the vlog, and also try to get them comfortable being in front of the camera and stuff. They're not as comfortable. So yeah. So as you see in that first vlog of me coming home, how my mom reacted and stuff to being caught on film and stuff, she's not used to it like how I am. I mean, she's not used to it, and she's ashamed of how she looks. And I have to constantly tell her, Mom, do not be ashamed of how you look. I mean, don't ever discourage yourself for how you look. And that's the thing, too, I want to tell all you guys. No matter what you look like, never, ever, ever be ashamed of who you are, and never put yourself down because of the way you look and stuff. Because it doesn't matter how beautiful you are or how rough on the outside you look. If you are a good person, that's all that matters. So, so the next time my mom's here, and my dad's here, I'll definitely, get them to share some family details with me on camera and stuff if I can. And we'll go from there. And also after that, I'll be, discussing more with you guys about my time at the Strasberg Theater and Film Institute, and also experiences that I have living up in New York, and also experiences I have, in the field of acting, like stories that I can share, like from being either on set, or with a production crew, or with or at an audition. Yeah, Okay, guys. Well, I think I'm gonna get out of here. You know, I'm gonna get back to editing my video and also squeeze in time to rehearse for my audition for next week. So I'm gonna go. And if any of you guys watch this, thank you for coming around watching this, and I'll see you in the next video. All right. Peace out.